Hello and welcome to 99th Monkey News, formerly known as the 50-cent tour of the day. Today is Friday, November 1st, 2013. And there isn't as much going on. It feels like there's kind of a pause in some of the action in some respects. But when there's always something going on behind the scenes, right? And here we have from Blacklisted News, Obama creates climate change task force. I guess nobody told him that climate change is a hoax. I mean, obviously there's natural climate change, but evidently he's not aware that man-made climate change is a hoax unless he's concerned about chemtrails. Hey, do you think maybe Obama would create a task force to look at the effects of chemtrails and how they are blocking out about 30% of the sun's rays? That's probably too much to hope for. Here's just an interesting little bit of information I came across from a tweet from Luke Rudkowski, just to help him get this out there a little bit. Luke Rudkowski's hotel broken into, computer compromised. And he believes, there's another video that was made after this, he believes that some things were planted on his computer, and this is an effort to maybe get him into some sort of trouble, maybe just intimidate him. So if you think of it, pray for Luke, and he wants to get this information out there so that it has as little effect on his life as possible, so that if they're trying to make him look as if he's guilty of something, people already know that his room was broken into. Here from RT, judge defeats challenge to medical gag order on health risks from fracking. And I know that articles about this have been out there to some extent, but I just wanted to make this a little bit of a focus today. Evidently, there is a gag order on physicians to prevent them from discussing potential health risks of fracking, which is, I don't understand how that would work. But here's the first paragraph. Pennsylvania authorities have denied a doctor the right to challenge a so-called medical gag rule that prevents him and other physicians from warning the public about the health dangers associated with fracking. Wow. You know, it isn't one of the reasons we have healthcare professionals to help the public identify potential threats to their health and avoid them. So I actually, when I had read this headline, I did not, because I didn't read the article, I didn't realize that doctors are evidently, under some circumstances, not allowed to talk about health risks that are incurred by letting corporations do whatever they want and, you know, put giant cracks in the earth. Gee, why? But anyway, doctors are not supposed to talk about it. Another article from RT, of course, probably everybody has heard by now that there was a shooting this morning at LAX, and it's probably too early to know exactly what this is about, but you know, they use these traumas to for mind control, to keep people off balance, as that Oath Keepers article that I focused on earlier this week highlighted. And it was kind of odd this morning when I was waking up. I asked my husband, is there anything going on in the news today? And he said, no, nothing significant. And my reply was, wow, it's been a few days since we had some terribly traumatic news to perpetuate the mind control. And so here it is. Here's the traumatic news that we were missing when we got up this morning. Was this done? Was this some kind of a setup, some kind of a false flag to garner support for the NSA when so many people are angry, and for the TSA, and say, no, see, there really are dangerous people and we really need to be prepared to fight them. That would be my guess, but of course there is no proof at this point. And I just heard a quote from Napoleon Bonaparte, which I tried to find online and wasn't able to, but evidently he said that it's not necessary to keep people from finding something out. It's just beneficial to delay their finding out until it becomes a moot point. And I'm paraphrasing there, but that's the idea. You know, whatever truth eventually comes out is less significant than the fear and the trauma that is perpetrated against the people of America as the news breaks. So we'll be watching this. Maybe. I mean, it might be like the 7.6 earthquake off the coast of Japan, that everybody was concerned that there would be a tsunami, and there was no tsunami, and I don't think there were any huge impacts of that earthquake. So sometimes these stories just tend to fizzle out, but I'm sure we'll all be following this, right? I'm bringing up the gubernatorial race between Terry McAuliffe and Cuccinelli because of some things that I saw on Facebook that were disturbing. There's a claim that Cuccinelli, I mean, one of the statements was that he wants to replace love with God in the bedroom. Well, God is love. You can't replace. It's the same thing. But there's this huge controversy, and I'm sure it's dividing libertarians, because this guy Cuccinelli is he has argued in court to keep an old statute. An old Virginia statute. Okay, it's actually called Crimes Against Nature Anti-Sodomy Law. And he's argued this before the Supreme Court, and he's very concerned about this, and he's running for governor now. This was when he was Attorney General. This has become a huge issue in the campaign, and one that people are really throwing a lot of hate bombs at him for. Does he deserve this? And as I mentioned, this issue divides libertarians, because libertarians don't believe that we should tell other people how to live their lives as long as they're doing no harm. So what Cuccinelli, how he has defended this, is that this law has only been used in Virginia to prosecute child predators, a purpose that is consistent with the Supreme Court's holding in Lawrence v. Texas. So they want to keep, evidently he has argued to keep this statute, and that is what people are freaking out about. Now, Terry McAuliffe is who he's running against. And of course, Terry McAuliffe has been worked for the Clintons. He was the head of the DNC while the Clintons were in office, and he did tremendous fundraising for them. So he's pretty closely aligned with the Clintons, and then so this weekend, Obama and the Clintons are campaigning for Terry McAuliffe. And Ron Paul is campaigning for Cuccinelli, and this race has really just become a huge issue. And this is Cuccinelli's website. I was hoping to find some comments about the scandalous stance that he's taken about gay relationships. but he doesn't seem to talk much about that on his website. But evidently he did take a stand against Obamacare, and some pundits have suggested that that is one reason why he is under such intense fire at this time, because of his he's just basically pointed out that Obamacare is not a good idea, which I think a lot of us share in that opinion. But I bring this up because of how I came across this issue and how it was. I mean, I've been getting emails from conservative groups about Cuccinelli, but I became really distinctly aware of this, what's going on Facebook, because some people with whom I generally tend to agree had all this really strong anti-Cuccinelli language, and especially in the comments, and nobody's saying, hey, wait a minute, let's give this guy a chance, find out what he's really all about. I mean, people are just freaking out, and I kind of sensed some trolls there. There just was that feeling that perhaps trolls have become aware that when they are too insistent and make statements that are too strong, they're less effective, and they're backing off a little bit. I'm just kind of getting that vibe. I'm honestly, I bring this all up because I'm getting the vibe that the alternative media is gaining so much in credibility and just interest and strength that it's being used. I think some of these the guys that we're struggling against want to ride the wave that we have generated in alternative media. And here's another example of that. And I do believe that the liberty people are being manipulated, or perhaps just they're just trying to draw in the liberty and the alternative media people to take a stand against Cuccinelli, maybe without learning all the facts. And I think it's crucial for all of us to be really cautious about what stories we buy into, and we all need to vet information. And no matter who makes a statement or a suggestion, even if somebody that we trust implicitly, I think that we need to continue to question and check ourselves all the time that we're not just accepting stories that we hear because of the source or the history or whatever. So another example of what I believe is the alternative media being used, being exploited. Samsung released 3 videos of their black hooded satanic footballers at Bayern, Chelsea, and Juventus. So you've probably heard these rumors of guys in black hoods popping up in different places, and crop circles and icons and just bizarre stuff. Well, it turns out this is all a promotion for Samsung. So the kind of the alternative media underground, the conspiracy theorists, the people who are looking for things out of the ordinary, that network has been exploited by Samsung. And so I believe that the powers that be, or as some people prefer to call them, the powers that were, are beginning to, as I said, take advantage, exploit the credibility and the momentum that alternative media has built. Are we going to let them do that? Are we going to let them co-opt alternative media and use it for their purposes? I hope not, but the only way to prevent that is, as I said, question everything and don't take anything for granted, no matter what the source. I am going to end with some good news today. This is a website called Think Progress. Abortion providers in Texas are canceling their patients' appointments, and they're saying it is a sad and dark day. But those little babies who are possibly going to live now are probably not calling it a sad and dark day. And then I have another article on the same issue. This is from the Washington Post. Appeals court ruling means 1/3 of Texas's abortion clinics can't perform procedure. So that is, as I said, that's good news for perhaps some children who will have the opportunity to be born and grow up, maybe to be freedom fighters. If that is, we can either avoid or alter the current education system. Thanks for tuning in for today's look at the news. Hoping that you will have a great weekend coming up. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Also hoping that you will love one another, take care, and insist on liberty.